welcome to another edition of the Webcomic Beacon Presents First Issue.
I'm Marcus.
And I'm Fez.
For some reason, Melissa's not here. We really need a third person now.
We can just do this by ourselves, right?
I'd rather not.
Are you sure?
It's Exo Manowar. We need somebody who knows about it. I know Harbinger, and that's about it.
Okay, I know a guy. Hang on. Hey, what did you think about the new Valiant comics?
The new Valiant? I loved it.
All right,
Awesome.
come on the show there.
Right on.
All right.
Oh shit, was that supposed to come on?
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
All right, we got a new person. Good.
All right. I got Jeremy from Twin City Comics. He's going to help us out.
Awesome.
All right, so let's do this. Move over a little bit. There we go. Wait a little bit over here. Oh, wait. Here we go. There we go.
We're going to have to edit the hell out of this, you know that, right?
I'm keeping that.
Good.
Welcome to another edition of the Webcomic Beacon Presents First Issue.
I'm Marcus again.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fess. And this is Exo Manowar,
That's
number 1 from Valiant Comics.
Fuck yeah, Valiant. Back and better than ever.
Well, we'll see.
We've
got 4 of these to review. So Valiant, for those who don't know, somebody else fill it in since I don't.
Really?
Started in the 90s.
Jim Shooter was the...
Jim Shooter, thank you.
Yeah,
yes,
editor-in-chief.
Could not remember his name. Former editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics.
Yep.
Decided to branch out on his own and come up with some really amazing comics.
Hell yeah, and he bought a bunch of Gold Key characters. I believe it was Gold Key, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Solar, Man of the Atom. He had
Turok
Dinosaur Hunter. So if y'all remember
I played
those
that
videos,
game.
Yeah, everyone did. That's the thing. That was that too. They also had Iron Man and Exo Manowar had a video game on PS1. It was a nice little crossover game. That's just pretty decent. Other than that, they never did make a Harbinger game, which is a shame. It was very close to X-Men in its design. They really could have done it. But anyways, they had 2 different groups, basically. There's the Gold Key characters, and then there were the original characters that they made for the Valiant line. The thing with the new Valiant is they don't have the Gold Key characters. I believe Dark Horse owns them now.
Correct.
And so they have all the originals, though. All the original characters that came from there. So while you won't be able to have something like Magus Robot Fighter being the secret father or the secret son of one of the Harbingers, I'm not spoiling anything. The shit is like 25 years old, okay? Fuck.
It's out there.
And new continuity now.
It's a new continuity anyway. Who cares?
So what happened with Valiant now? Did it just go bankrupt or just close or what happened?
They were bought out by, I believe it was Acclaim.
Acclaim.
Yeah.
Yep. And the way comics were going in the 90s, it was kind of an inevitability that if you weren't one of the big 2 or one of the new 3, i.e. Image Comics, you kind of fell by the wayside. Malibu Comics did it.
Oh, poor Malibu.
So Acclaim, the video game company, basically bought them just to get the rights.
Yes.
Sounds like.
Hence we have things like Turok Dinosaur Hunter being a game series.
Right. So then how did it come back? How did Valiant come back?
Actually, this last year at C2E2, I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of the new people that were forming Valiant Comics, and a lot of it was just fan-based. One of the guys that's kind of the mastermind behind the new Valiant was a huge Valiant fan when he was a kid. Actually had a Valiant birthday cake
when
he was a kid. So he was such a huge fan and decided to break out on his own, and he thought, you know what, let's bring back Valiant. Valiant was hugely popular, still very successful.
Really?
Yeah.
And we still have people coming in asking for old back issues to complete collections, read stories that other friends have told them about, and yeah, I think the new Valiant coming back out is really great.
Well, awesome. And I really like, if we take a look at this logo here, look at the logo. It's got this very classic look to it while also being modern.
Yeah, it's based on the old Valiant logo, which is more of a star with the same design.
But it does have a little bit more emphasized sort of
the
V.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a compass with like
a V.
You can tell that there's a V in there if you look at it.
Exactly. Whereas before it was more just a compass.
Yeah. So I think this is a very good updated logo, and certain comic book companies should learn from this.
Yeah.
And also not change it every quarter.
Our distinguished yeah, I was going to say our distinguished competition. I was trying to be nice about it, but...
But yeah, I really like the new Valiant logo. It's very simplistic in its design, but still drives it home that this is a Valiant book.
Yeah,
all you need to look for is that, and you're golden.
Yeah, if you remember the old design, it looks enough like it that you don't feel like it's a betrayal.
Right.
Unlike our distinguished competition.
And here's the other thing. Exo Manowar was the first one that came out for the Valiant comeback, and it was in your store, the Twin City Comics store in Columbia Heights, Minnesota.
Fuck yeah.
It's there was a poster for Manowar. You scan a link with your phone, and there's an outline of the phone on like the guy's face, on his mouth. So you scan the link, it goes to a YouTube video. You hold your phone up to the poster, and it's like it's talking with its mouth, and it's just, I can imagine.
That's cool as shit, though. That's awesome, man.
Valiant really wanted to do something different with their marketing.
Yeah.
Here we've got comic books, and sure, we can send out posters, and yes, we can send out postcards to let people know about it, but what's something new and modern to really drive home that point? And so they started picking up on the QR codes. Mm-hmm. Everybody uses them. They're all over the place now, so you just scan that, put your phone up to it, and as long as you have a smartphone, it doesn't matter what kind it was, it immediately linked up to it and gave you something really new. It read the first, I believe, 2 pages.
Cool.
Maybe it was the first page of a story. No, actually, you know what?
I think it was just a narrative.
That's right.
Yeah,
it was just a
It
narrative.
kind of went on a little bit too long for me to stand
and I think that's
in
why
a store holding up a phone against a poster that talked to me.
Yeah. But still,
I think that's
it's
probably why I thought it was an actual whole page, because he literally
it
went
goes
on.
on.
Yeah, it was like
Talking about it.
And then other people. There's this other guy that was standing there next to me. It's like, I step over. It's like, you want to see him talk too?
Yeah. It's all right. The good is good marketing. It's something different, man. Like nobody else did anything like that, and you remember it.
Right.
You know,
I remembered it.
Yeah, you'll never forget that. Whether it was perfect, nothing's perfect.
Right.
Nobody is.
I actually wasn't even paying attention that it was Valiant that was coming back until like a couple months later when Harbinger came out. Blah, 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 blah. But so we're gonna look at Exo Manowar, and then we're gonna look at 3 other of the #1 Valiants that came out in the same summer. So look at the back of the cover is Summer of Valiant.
Hell yeah. I still feel so mad because I actually found them on Twitter before they even began the writing stages for Valiant, and I wasn't convinced because I was like, Jim Shooter's not involved and stuff, and I was like kind of worried because they were like, hey, we want people, we need creative teams.
Oh, so you
and I freaking missed it.
Oh.
Yeah, because I didn't think, I was like, oh, Valiant, well, there's a couple of guys. I didn't figure that they would actually serious, because I've seen something like this happen before where people will buy up rights, but nothing ever happens. I mean, that's why Voltron is screwy. I think Voltron's the one that has screwy rights. So that's what I thought it was going to be like. And then, 2 years later, boom! And it's like, oh, they know what they're doing? Why didn't you tell me you knew what you were doing? I would have totally tried to be part of this.
Yeah. But you still got this thing going on with Oni Press right now.
Yeah, that's still going on. So I'm happy about that, but I could have had 2. Oh well.
Spitting from the comic.
I'm going to spit on it. Well, I shouldn't do it because this is a good comic. Okay, but,
So, Exo Manowar, let's take a look at this cover here. What do you guys think about this cover?
I like it.
It's pretty tight.
It's Eric Ribis, fantastic writer, or artist.
It should be cover artist Eric
Esad Ribic.
Oh, Esad Ribic.
Thank you.
There you go.
Totally,
But there's like 4 different people.
Is it,
3 different people on the 4 different people on the
the
cover.
cover.
Yep, variants,
there's
the variants.
Oh, the variants.
covers,
Yeah, gotta remember variants.
That's by the way a classic Valiant thing.
Very
like
huge.
Variants, they're one of the ones who really made that a big deal, especially like when they had the foil covers,
chromium covers,
all that.
covers.
Yeah, Valiant made that a huge thing as part of their marketing back in the day.
The only other people I've seen do variants these days while walking in the comic book store has been Xenoscope, and they're all just TNA pinup variants, really.
Pretty much, but Valiants are always good.
Right, and they're the only ones I actually see. Otherwise, Kaboom Studios, the ones that do the Adventure Time comics, they do tons of variants too. So I always thought it was pretty awesome. You don't see, I don't see that much with DC and Marvel so much, but I do see them here and there.
DC does more limit variants.
Limited variants.
So it'll be, this is a 1 in 25 variant. This is a 1 in 50 variant. Where Valiant will still do those too, but the numbers are different. So it'll be a 1 in 25. Here's a 1 in 10 variant. So they make it a little more accessible to get said variant comic, and they also, because of that, produce a little more so people can have them.
Right.
This new Valiant, I think, has really taken on a really, I don't want to use the word fun tone to it, but I feel they actually care about comics. They're putting the effort into it. They're putting the work that needs to be there. The quality that Valiant used to have, they're making sure they're putting into this. They're taking a little...
Absolutely.
So how do you think about this cover, though?
That's what we're talking about.
I love
We've been talking about like 10 minutes about Valiant.
Well, we have to, because the thing is, not everybody's familiar with Valiant, especially anyone younger than us.
Move on to the cover now.
No! I mean, yes. Okay.
So
Esad Ribic.
Fantastic
Awesome.
Penciler. He gives you the idea.
Two different styles. He does his painted style and then his interior style. And those are always different. This is his painted style, which is very just classic. It has a classic look to it. The colors are very classic. That's not a modern coloring for Exo Manowar as we're seeing him now.
Yeah.
But that's his modern costume.
What's the classic color?
It's a little deeper blue. In
yellow
later issues.
Still, or?
Yep. But that's more of a gold even.
All right.
So it has a classic look to it while still staying very, very modern.
Yeah.
The overall structure of, I mean, it's like you got all this blue and everything, and then of course what I assume is Exo Manowar here is really standing out, and I didn't quite see it right away that hey, there's like dudes and stuff. My one big complaint would be that the surrounding blue is a little too dark. It's not as distinguished as this character just sort of popping out, but...
Yeah, I definitely agree, because I think you could probably have gotten away with a slightly different color scheme for the aliens themselves, so they didn't blend in with the ship as much. However, I'm not quite sure how you would do that without accidentally making them more of the center of attention than Exo Manowars. I'm thinking...
Just another shade of something, maybe a little bit more green or
like
something
green or red, but the thing is, if you do that too much, then they kind of take over... Because
well,
so
and they
more.
do a little bit of the green right here.
Yeah,
but you can barely see that. But that's the ground.
I think it's his legs. Is that the ground? I can't tell because the shadow here.
Yeah.
So to me, he's in space. That's some sort of space debris.
Yeah, it probably is.
Because there's other rocks and stuff in the air.
Right.
Yeah, but it looks good. Like, I love the energy sword.
Right.
Like that looks
the light.
Awesome.
All of that light is, what's emanating.
Yeah, and it actually does light the scene.
Right.
Which just makes it just seem all that much more authentic. I like it a lot.
All right,
next.
So, what we open up, the inside cover, actually, I had to realize that, hey, this isn't an ad. And it's kind of a little bit interesting. It gives a little bit of background of, hey, about what you're about to go in here and read. It's like, wait a minute, the cover's all about space. Now you're talking about Romans and Visigoths. And almost like it's...
That
Deadliest Warrior.
It is very Deadliest Warrior the way it's built. But to be fair, Exo Manowar, if I recall, was from ancient times in the original. Like he was, one of them was.
I don't recall 100%, but I like that they put this in here because it gives a good comparison that the Visigoths are an alien race. Granted, they look exactly like our Romans.
Yeah.
They act like our Romans. So they compare them to it.
Oh, well,
wait a minute.
The aliens.
No, the Visigoths are these guys.
Yeah, the Visigoths are our protagonists, the humans.
These are humans, though.
Yeah, this is basically the much weaker civilization.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I always read that and read them as aliens. I totally was like, oh, they're just like humans.
No. We'll get it. We're getting to that. So we're in 400 AD, basically.
Yeah, they're basically the spider aliens.
And the Romans are basically all ganging up on Easter of all days to basically just destroy this lesser people, according to the Romans. And they're just, we're just going to conquer you. Screw you.
Yeah, it seems the implication that I get is Rome at some point said either let us rule you or we'll take you. And these guys, being somewhat like Spartans in their mindset, were like, fuck you, we'll fight you to the death.
Right.
I just always read it as them being aliens.
Aliens? Oh,
and I was like, they got a place called Italy too. That's hilarious.
Oh, no. Yeah, the idea that these are just a lesser people. They were called spider aliens in the previous one. I don't know what their name is here. I'm not sure that's even told you.
Well, we'll get to that point.
We'll get to them later.
The whole beginning is basically a fight against the Romans, and clearly they're no match whatsoever.
No.
They're getting totally destroyed.
The Romans darn near have magic with their artillery. It may as well be magic as far as they're concerned.
Who's the blonde guy here? Eric something or Alaric?
It's our boy, the main character. I forgot his name.
Alaric.
King Alaric. Yeah.
Oh, King Alaric is okay, and then there's
Let me make sure.
And then there's regular Eric, who is the guy in blonde, I think. Yeah,
Hang on.
Eric.
Eric,
Yeah,
yeah.
Eric, and then
Okay, Eric, yeah,
King
something
All
called.
Eric, and this would be Prince Eric.
Yeah. And then we need Ariel and Sebastian and Flounder
All right.
and the rest of them.
So he's like, no, reason, what's that? Charge! It's like, what the hell is with this guy? He's just
Leonidas.
constantly, going to battle and
Well, yeah,
basically
his-
get more and more battle.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, his thought process is almost like a samurai. That's the way I read it. Because the idea is, to him, our right and our spirit will overcome the superior
He's
artillery.
so convinced of
He's
it.
so convinced that it worked. I mean, later on we see he is straight up attacks a mech with a sword because of this philosophy.
Right, you're
And-
jumping ahead a little bit.
I'm jumping ahead, but who cares? We're gonna get there.
Yeah, we're getting there. We'll jump to that. So his dad
Yeah.
dies. Is like, oh, you'll swing this sword again, father. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's like, dude, we're outmatched. Stop being such a dumbass. You're gonna get us all killed.
yeah, and he just dies. And
Yeah,
so
he was just like, oh shit, my dad is dead. I'm gonna use his sword in his honor because he's all about that kind
he
of
is.
thing. You know, he's
he
got
is
that.
so zoned. It's like, and then there's like, we know that these are aliens now, clearly, but they
these are
don't.
just- yeah, they don't know because they assume these are Romans. They look like Romans. Their armor is very similar.
And I love this line here. So it's like the Eric here is like he's got like this platoon with him, and one guy is saying there's no telling how many legionnaires are hidden inside that behemoth, referring to the alien ship. We should exercise caution. Next scene, thunk, as Eric has clearly thrown his
Javelin.
his axe or whatever. Give them no quarter.
Yeah.
Or we
then they
could
just-
attack now.
Yeah. And then they realize, oh god, these guys have laser guns.
Yeah, and then a mech comes out, and he's like,
Yeah.
2 arms!
Yeah, he does not care, man. But
Yeah.
it looks like a freaking Big Daddy from Bioshock and shit. And he's just like, swing a sword at it. And I'm like,
You know what? I'm thinking about like South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Yeah.
When Saddam Hussein comes out, you're all really fucked now.
exactly. And then this is nice.
Yeah, we see like these people like have like little insect baby things and injecting them.
With a
Clearly
human
clone
hu-
DNA, something around
Yeah,
them,
so they can
Human
blend in
DNA.
with
and
humans.
swapping them. Yeah.
Yeah, and swapping them out like changelings almost.
Yeah, so that's we got some plot seeds finally.
Oh
happening
yeah,
here.
no, like those like they're definitely based on the spider aliens from original Valiant. I'm not sure what their names are, like I said before, but they would do stuff like that. They were very much about like infiltrating. They were everywhere. Like that was like the spider aliens in the original Valiant kind of were the one enemy that brought everyone together. Like Solar would fight them. Exo Manowar got his armor from them. Same as here. The Harbingers fought them at random. They had some kind of adventure that brought them to Canada, and they they came across a spider alien ship.
Always having adventures that bring me to Canada.
Yeah, and just shit happens. Like they would be all over the place. They were infiltrating everywhere, and I love that this seems to be setting up the same sort of idea because you'll have much more legitimate reason to have crossovers because there is a unified threat that's going against the world that everyone will have to deal with.
Yep.
And so Eric gets his ass handed
Yes.
to him. His blade is broken, and then
Yeah, his father's blade, in
gets-
fact,
he
is
gets-
smashed against the mech.
yeah, and then they take him up, and for some reason they take them as prisoners, and they
Well,
go
they
up
have
into space.
Yeah, I mean, they want slaves, man. This is year 400. They've got high tech, but hell.
They can't do anything with it.
Nah, it's like they don't want their dudes, like, possibly getting hurt.
Yeah,
Around with
so
I would like to draw focus. Sorry
yeah,
to interrupt.
no, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Cary Nord's art.
Oh, yes, we
The
forget
guy
about
that does this book used to do Conan
Yes.
for Dark Horse. So he very much has that barbarian feel to his books, but his panel layouts are they're great. I mean, it focuses on what needs to be focused on. There's never usually anything that you don't need,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, it's very cinematic almost in the way it's done. You know, here you've got the panel where he gets hit by the mech and
Yeah, the
smacked
movement
across.
here.
Yeah, the movement.
Now, granted, they could have just flopped and he's there, but he
Yeah.
actually took the time to put the wind into the grass, the
Yeah,
dust,
sliding
him moving. You can actually feel like he's about to flip over, just with the way the panel's moving. And yeah, I was really excited when I seen Cary Nord was going to be on
Yeah.
this book.
Yeah, no, he does a wonderful job with just all of the pacing, for
Yep.
example. Like, there's never a point where you're confused as to what's happening.
Right.
And that is, it sounds obvious, but there are very many comics where you will have to sometimes read stuff over again because you can't quite figure it out. But this one, never a problem.
No.
Is amazing.
Really enjoy his art.
Sequentials here.
So, once we come to planet somewhere, I suppose, we can see they're unloading off humans, and our main character, Eric, has cleverly, and it took me a while to figure out what this was, so he cleverly snuck a piece of his broken sword into his mouth and cuts his bonds, and then he chokes a bitch.
Chokes a dude with him. Awesome. So I was like, this dude, like I said, he reminds me of Leonidas, where it's like never gives up under any circumstances, no matter whether that makes sense or not.
How bad he's outnumbered.
Yeah, he does not care, and you can't help. At first, you're kind of pissed at him because even his dad is like, "Look, you're going to get our civilization wiped out if you keep fighting the Romans."
Right.
But when you get in situations like this, on an alien ship they've been captured, now suddenly those tendencies are working for him, and you're starting to, if you were against him before, you're going to be for him now because now you're starting to see this guy's heroic, and it's working out.
So, the two escape and observe a ceremony happening.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Like, because here's one thing that I loved about this: you almost never see aliens who have any sort of spirituality in any sort of comics. Like, I think there was one in Outlaw Star. There were these like religious bird aliens, but that's about it. These guys seem to worship this suit of armor that they believe will choose a chosen one to wear it.
Right.
Now, whether or not they see it as a supernatural deity or just a piece of equipment that's incredibly important to them is really doesn't matter. I love the fact that they have reverence for something other than, oh, we are super logical, your analog mode of thinking is stupid. They they appear to be a full race of beings that have more than one facet to them.
Right.
That
it's not conquer, it's not kill.
Yeah. There's more to it. They have some of that, but that's not the only thing they have.
Now, you bring up those bird aliens, and then I'm looking at this armor that's in a ball, and I can't help but think of Metroid at this point with the bird aliens and his ball armor.
Yeah. Well, hey, this one's a little more dangerous than Samus's armor, as it turns out.
Well,
to the wearer.
If they're not chosen, I almost picture this as if maybe, just maybe, that this culture is still a little, like, obviously they're technologically advanced, but maybe this armor is not theirs and it fell on their planet or somebody found it.
It's quite possible.
And there's like maybe a story, like maybe the first person who put it on saved their race or something like that.
Yeah, that is very possible.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of mystery.
Yeah, because of the new continuity, there's no reason to believe that they built this.
Right.
So it's very cool. I didn't even think of that. That is a good point. Because I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, no, and this suit just freaking kills the guy that tried it on.
Yeah, and
even our mightiest warrior was
clearly
rejected.
Not worthy.
Yeah, it's not worthy.
So there's some trick. It wants some reason. Like, you have to have no evil in your heart or something.
I'm pretty sure it's just going to be Leonidas over here. He's going to be the guy who wears it.
Though we don't find out in this comic.
Not in this particular issue, but hey, that's fine because they are starting out the story. You need to establish your setting to begin with.
And that's actually something that I think a lot of comics have started going to since Brian Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man run.
Ooh, yes.
Is you get the first 3 issues, he's powerless, he doesn't have his suits.
Yeah.
Not until I believe it's the 4th issue.
I think it's 4th issue when he first... Yeah, because he gets it from the wrestling.
Yep. And it's not even his Spider-Man suit yet. It's just, a very close replica.
It's similar, but there's no, webbing on it. But he does that later.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it does kind of make the cover sort of... Well, it's not have anything to do with this. But then we talked about this before. Number 1... kind of has an excuse.
Because the thing is, first, I mean, look at the back here. We've got another.
Well, this is going to be the number 2.
Yeah,
the number 2 cover. But this cover looks pretty awesome.
But they all look awesome. But that's the idea, though. Is you want to give people an idea of what the story is going to be about.
Right.
But you still have to establish the setting.
Right. And who the main character is. This is what he'll look like.
Yeah.
So you know.
We've already established what's clearly the main character, and we established the suit.
Yep.
So we can piece together. So as a number 1.
I'd say it succeeds.
Me too. I think it does a good job of setting up a story. giving you the desire to read more, because
Yeah.
that's always my thing with a lot of number ones that I don't pick up number twos, is if I get to the end of that story and I just don't care,
Yeah.
I don't want to read a number two. But there's so much in this that leaves you wanting more, that
Right.
leaves you with questions, that it's like, you know what, I'm going to pick up the number two.
Definitely, and just the fact that we've got this dudes like Leonidas, and we get the idea, but it's not necessarily guaranteed
Right.
that he might at some point be in the modern era.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well, and
curious.
I thought they were aliens. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it kind
that's-
of lends itself to that. Where
So-
there's such a broad,
Say, what's going to happen?
You know,
I want to know.
things going
Are you
on.
guys saying this succeeds though?
Yes.
As
100%.
Absolutely.
as
A number one.
old fans though,
Yeah.
Oh, I
as
would,
compared to like the
absolutely.
original XL.
I would
Well,
absolutely
okay.
say it
Yeah,
does.
to be fair, like I said, I don't have a lot of history with the original Lexo Manowar. I know him mostly from cameos.
Yep.
But from what I've read of the old one compared to this, excellent.
Okay.
Right.
For
It
brand new
doesn't step
reader
on
to
any
XO.
toes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
perfect for a brand new reader.
Okay.
Like that's the one thing I'll say about all of these Valiant comics.
Right.
They do a damn
Well,
good job.
don't spoil the ratings of the other ones
I'm
yet.
not gonna say all the ratings. I'm just saying they do a good.
And I
they know what they're
also,
doing.
I also think that this comic succeeds. It's got enough going in here to where there's very little reason not to pick up the next one if you're into a headstrong sort of guy, and then aliens kidnap this 400 AD
Yeah.
warrior character. So that was XO Manowar #1 from Valiant Comics.